The biggest reason why international students miss out on Canada graduate admission isn't because they have bad grades or because they couldn't secure fully funded scholarships. It's because they started applying way too late. Now, schooling in Canada is a marathon, not a sprint. You have to start early to prepare your documents, gather everything necessary to make your journey successful. If you wait until the deadlines start approaching before putting in your application, you're already setting yourself up for rejection. So, when exactly is the best time to apply for your Canada study permit? In this video, I'm going to be giving you the best timelines, what you need to put in order to beat the competition, get your study permit approved, and be in Canada. So grab your pen, sit back, and I hope you learn a thing or two from this video. Welcome back. My name is Aku Obi. If you're new here, I help graduate students or intending graduate students for Canada navigate their Canada study permit applications and also how to thrive as an international student in Canada. Typically, Canada schools have three intakes. There's a fall intake, which starts in September. There is the January intake, which is winter intake, and also we have the summer intake, which is around May, June, July. So let's say you are applying for the fall intake, which starts in September 2026, for example. You should have started doing your research and gathering your documents as far back as March 2025. Because if you wait, it might already have started getting too late for you. You have to gather your documents, write exams if you have to, for example, your test of English, get your transcript evaluated, and a series of other things that you need to do. I'll be breaking down this entire process into 4 phases. The first phase I will be talking about now is the research phase. What program do you want to do? Right now, Canada prioritizes different programs when it comes to settling back in Canada after your studies. So, if you're doing a master's, a bachelor's, or a PhD, you have a higher chance of staying back in Canada. And also, the program you choose matters a lot because they also have priority sectors and programs that they offer postgraduate work permit for. For master's, bachelor's, and your PhD, you do not need that priority program selection. As long as you did a bachelor's, a master's, or a PhD, you're good to go. After studies, you would be entitled to like 3 years of postgraduate work permit. But if you go for a college diploma, a post-degree diploma, or anything diploma related that is not a bachelor's, master's, or PhD, the course you select is very important. So you make sure that you do your research as per the program that you want to study. Also, you want to check, let's say you're going for a master's. I did a master's degree. So you also want to research if your master's degree is course-based or thesis-based. Now, if it's course-based, you are not going to do any new research relating to your field of study. You're going to do maybe a capstone project at the end of your program that involves typical research using already existing information and materials online. The thesis based, you have to do your research, find new information, add value to the field of your study. Let me know in the comment section which you will want to do and if you want me to break this further down. If you're doing a course-based master's, you'll be looking at your tuition fee, your program fees, and other fees that would enable you settle in Canada. However, if you're looking at doing a thesis-based program, you have to start searching for a supervisor before you even apply because that will be part of the admission requirement. Some schools will not give you admission until you have a supervisor. So you have to search for a supervisor, try to apply for scholarship relating to the research area that you want to work on, and many other things that would include. So take your time, do your research, make sure that whatever you're going into, the investment is going to be worth it in the long term. For phase two, we're going to be talking about testing and documentation. Now, this typically takes between 12 to 9 months before the start of your program. Remember, assuming you are starting in fall of 2026, for example, you should have started this phase 12 months to 9 months before. So that would be the previous year before the start of your program. Some programs require you to submit GMAT scores, test of English. Make sure that you have started studying for these exams and also booking your exam date. Just make sure you're prepared for the test. Whatever test that your program requires, this is where you start it. Secondly is your transcript. We all know that getting your transcript from certain Nigerian schools can be very slow. So if your institution where you graduated from is one of those schools that are very slow at delivering transcripts, make sure that you start at least a year before the start of your program to try to get your transcript. The third point for this phase has to do with references. When you're applying to graduate studies in Canada or anywhere outside the country, you are definitely going to need letters of recommendation from at least 2 or 3 references. These references are usually academic references and people that have been your supervisors at work. So make sure you are starting to establish relationship with these people who are going to give you these references. Reach out to them. I do not advise ambushing somebody with a letter of recommendation request. Try to check on them once in a while. Just send them emails or letters to check up on them and know how they're doing, just to make sure that you establish a relationship first before you request for that letter of recommendation. This takes me to phase 3, which talks about your application and funding. This is usually between 9 to 6 months before your program start date. In this phase, you have already done your English tests and reached out to your references, your letters of recommendation. In this phase, you are applying for scholarships, trying to see if you can get funding for your program. You are already drafting your statement of purpose, which will also help your application. You can apply for either internal funding and external funding. Some universities have funding for first-time applications. So look at the university website to be sure that you're not missing out on any of these opportunities. You can also start applying for external scholarships at this point as well. Just make sure that you get all the necessary information. Be sure to submit your application early. Most Canadian universities that are admitting for fall intake, for example, usually have the application deadlines between December to March of that season. So make sure you submit your application. Do not submit at the dying minute. It's very important because you never know. In most cases, these institutions, these schools, they give you admission based on first come, first serve, and they do not exceed their admission limit for the year. So you want to make sure that you submit your application early enough to give reasonable time for consideration. Finally, this brings us to phase 4. We talked about the admission and your study permit. Typically, this takes between 6 to 3 months before the start of your program. Now you have gotten your admission. Congratulations, you got in. This is just the beginning because admission does not guarantee that you will get a study permit. Now you want to go and apply for your study permit, haven't gotten your admission letter. When you get your admission letter, that is not a time to relax for too long because the journey has even just started. Now you have to apply for your Canada study permit. In my last video titled Why Most Nigerians Fail in the Canada Study Route, the visa application process is rigorous. Go through that video, watch it, and see what you need to put into place before applying for your study permit. IRCC timeline can fluctuate, so be sure to submit your application early. Put everything in order. You do not want a situation where your program has started and your study permit is yet to be approved. This should typically take between 6 to 3 months before your program start date. But make sure you submit your application very early so that when decision is made and you need to reapply, there will be enough time and room for that. Finally, to answer the question, when is the best time to apply for Canada graduate study permit? Now, the answer to that question, having considered all that I have said so far in this video, is that the best time to apply is now. If you start at least 12 to 18 months early, You remove the panic. You're able to build relationship with your professors for your letters of recommendation. You are able to create your account history properly for your proof of funds and other relevant things that needs to be done before you submit your application. If you found this video helpful, click on the subscribe button, like this video because it helps give the video more visibility. Also share and ask your questions in the comment. If there are other things you want me to talk about, let me know in the comment section. I am currently a student in Canada and I am not an immigration consultant. Most of the things that I share on this channel are things from my personal experience to also help you build and gain ground in Canada as an international student. So I'm not selling anything. I am not an immigration consultant. I'm only sharing out of my own personal experience. So I'll see you in my next video. Until then, bye bye.